Welcome. In this video we will see login process and SQL injection. The database server is key component in server environment, especially the websites which have user login architecture. Database server holds the database management system and the data records. Upon the request from client machine, it searches the database for selected record and passes them back over the network. Software such as Oracle, SQL Server and MySQL are used to set up a database server. Basically what happens in login process is when a user types username and password and clicks on sign in, the web server receives the username and password and forward it to the database server. The database server receives the username and password from web server and check its table from that username and password and sends the result of authentication to the web server. The web server receives the authentication result from database server and on the basis of the result redirects the user to the proper web page. If the authentication is true, user gets signed in to the account, and if it is false, user is asked to sign in again. And if it fails, user is asked to sign in again. The SQL injection comes in between this process. A SQL injection attack exploits vulnerabilities in web server database that allow the attacker to gain access to the database to read, modify or delete information. In next video, we'll do SQL injection on real website. That's all in this video. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video, we will see SQL injections. First, we will see what is SQL, then what is SQL injection, and then later on SQL injection attack types. So basically, what is SQL? As I mentioned bit in previous video, SQL is a special purpose programming language designed for managing data held in relational database management system, that is RDBMS. The scope of SQL includes data insert, query, update and delete, schema creation and modification and data access control. Then what is SQL injection? A class of code injection attacks in which data provided by the user is included in an SQL query in such a way that the part of user's input is treated as SQL code. SQL injection is a technique to maliciously exploit applications that use client-supplied data in SQL statements. Attackers trick the SQL engine to executing unintended commands by supplying specially crafted string input, thereby gaining unauthorized access to a database in order to view or manipulate restricted data. SQL injection techniques may differ, but they all exploit a single vulnerability in the application, that is incorrectly validated or non-validated string literals are concatenated into dynamic SQL statement and interpreted as a code by SQL engine. Now let's see types of SQL attack. First order attack. The attacker can simply enter a malicious string and cause the modified code to be executed immediately. Second order attack. The attacker injects into persistent storage such as table row, which is deemed as trusted source. An attacker is subsequently executed by another activity. Literal injection. The attacker can manipulate the implicit function such as to_char by changing the values of the environment variables, NLS date format or NLS numeric character. Now let's see injection mechanism. Injection through user input, injection through cookies, and injection through server variables. These all three come under first order injection. To understand the second order injection, we have to see the difference between first order injection and second order injection. In first order injection, the application processes the input, causing the attacker's injected SQL query to execute. But in second order injection, the application stores the input for future use, that is in database, and responds to the requests. The attacker submits a second different request. To handle the second request, the application retrieves the stored input and processes it, causing the attacker's injected SQL query to execute. So that's how second order injection works, or you can even call the mechanism of second order injection. Now let's see attack intent. First determining database schema, then extracting data, adding or modifying data, and finally bypassing authentication. Inference. Inference is basically inject commands into the site and then observe how the function response of the website changes. In that there are two types, blind injection and timing attacks. Blind injection is basically the information must be inferred from the behavior of the page by asking the server true or false questions. Like this, where instead of legal user or username, 1 equals to 2, that is logical question, is added. We will see blind SQL injection properly in further videos. Then timing attacks. Timing attack is basically to gain the information by observing timing delay in the response of database. This also we will see practically in upcoming videos. So that's all in introduction of SQL injection. In next video we will see further concept of SQL injection. So welcome, in this video we will see further into SQL injection. Before we do SQL injection, it's pretty important to find the websites which are vulnerable by SQL injection, because unfortunately we cannot SQL attack on all websites. The websites need a SQL injection vulnerability in order to do this technique. Website URL need a parameter like php id equals to 4 or php id equals to any number to inject. For example, http www.example.com/product.php id equals to 5. This type of website is needed in order to do this trick. To find this type of website, you need to search for .php id equals to in Google search. That is like this, .php id equals to. When you search for it, you will get a list of many websites which are vulnerable to SQL injection. Like the first one, biblehistory.com. Let me open it. As this one ends with .php id equals to 2, this is vulnerable. To again double check it, I'll put apostrophe at the end of the number and hit enter. The output I got here is query failed. You have an error in SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to your MySQL version for the right syntax to use near triple apostrophe at line 1. So this site is SQL vulnerable and you can hack it. And it's not that it should be php id equals to some number. It can be quite different and vary from it. Like here in pastebin there is collection of it. Go to URL of this pastebin. You can even search for about.php cart id equals to. Even the URL has this one, it is vulnerable. And in the same way account info php cart id and so on. So basically in generic it should be .php !id equals to any number. Before id it will be cart or it will be id product or whatever. It should just be the pattern of php !id equals to. For more clarification, see this list in paste bin. And it's not that you should get the same error which I got here. You may get different. There are n number of different SQL error which will show up depending upon the website. You should just get the error but not the 404 error. Like in udemy.com, if I put FS Trophy and hit enter, it will show seems like we are a bit lost, search for a course and escape the island. So this is basically 404 error, as website is capable to identify that the page does not exist. To confirm it as 404, just right click on it and click on view page source. In web page source, press Ctrl+ F. The box will open up and search for 404. You will get many results. In the second result, you can see here the class is P404, that is 404 error. It is clear here that the error page directive class is 404 error. And below also it is mentioned that search 404. So the websites which show 404 error are not vulnerable to this kind of SQL injection. So that's all about SQL injection in this video. In next video we'll see further about SQL injection. Welcome, in this video we'll do SQL injection with the help of Kali Linux operating system. First boot into Kali Linux operating system and open terminal. In terminal type SQL map -h. This command is help. You'll get all the commands to use with SQL map, like here -u for targeting URL, -g for Google Doc, and these options can be used to specify how to connect to the target URL, that is through cookie or data or proxy or Tor, and injections, detection and techniques. No need to worry, I will demonstrate you by doing SQL injection. Password, tables, column, schema, dump, these all we will use. So now let's begin. I will type SQL map -u, that is to target the URL. Now I need vulnerable URL, that is biblehistory.com, which you got in introduction of SQL injection. To check vulnerable out, I have to just do this much, and we got the error. Now I will copy the URL and paste it in terminal. After URL space $dbs and hit enter. The SQL map process will start. It is asking, it looks like the backend DBMS is MySQL. Do you want to skip the test payload specific for other DBMS? As it has already identified the backend DBMS as MySQL, so there is no need to check anymore. So I'll type Y and hit enter. For the remaining test, do you want to include all tests for MySQL extending provided level 1 and risk 1 values? Yes. It will take time to do SQL injections. I'll just fast forward this video. Get parameter ID is vulnerable. Do you want to keep testing the others? As get parameter ID is already vulnerable, so I don't want to keep testing others, so I'll write N and hit enter. The process is over. The backend DBMS is MySQL, the web application technology is Apache 2.4.23, PHP 5.538, backend DBMS MySQL 5.0. We got 5 available databases: Bible Glossary, Bible History, Information Schema, Keywords, and Kids Dictionary. So now let's browse into any one of those databases. For that, I have to just copy the before command till hyphen, that is SQL map -u the URL till just hyphen, not double hyphen dbs. This much. I'll just copy it and paste it here. Then -d, the database I want, that is Bible_glossary, and double hyphen tables. That's all. I'll hit enter. Inside database Bible Glossary, I got 13 tables, that is Bible reference to words. So now to browse inside these tables, from above command, I'll just copy from SQL map to first hyphen of tables. This much. Just copy it and paste it here. After first hyphen, I'll write T, that is tables, and the table name which I want, that is Bible reference, Bible_ref, and double hyphen columns, as I need columns from the tables. So inside table Bible reference, I got 5 columns from book to verse. So now to get values inside this column, I'll just copy and paste the above command till the first hyphen of column, and later I write capital C for column and the column name. You can include how much column you want. You have to just separate the column from a comma, like here, book comma, book_abbreviation. You can include all those columns by just putting comma and so on. Right now I'll just include 2 columns. Then double hyphen dump. This will dump the data inside columns. And I'll hit enter. So these are the values inside those columns. Book and book abbreviations, as you can see here. So basically a website is vulnerable for SQL injections. Then the hacker can get almost all the data stored in the database of the website. You can say if a website is SQL vulnerable, then it is most dangerous. So that's all. In the same way, you can get access to user ID, password, email IDs, almost anything stored in the database of a website which is vulnerable to SQL injections. That's all. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video, we will further proceed with SQL injections. In this video, we'll do SQL injection with the help of Havij, or you can spell it as Havij, whatever. So here I have already downloaded the pro version of Havij 1.152. Just Google search for Havij and download it. So now let's proceed. Before that, we need to have a vulnerable website which we searched and got in previous video, that is biblehistory.com. I will remove this hash as it's of no use for us. So biblehistory.com is the vulnerable site. I will just copy this URL and paste it in Havij. Let me first open the Havij and run Havij as administrator. Yes. So now Havij is running as administrator and I have internet connectivity, as you can see here. I'll just copy and paste the URL here, that is vulnerable website and its vulnerable link. So now we are done. I'll hit on Analyze. Havage has started analyzing. The web server is Apache 2.4.23 powered by PHP 5.5. Havage is doing SQL injection of integer type. Let it do this. Let it do its work. It will hardly take few minutes depending upon the kind of website you are targeting. Finding database type. It will take more time, so I'll just fast forward this video for you. It has found the columns count, that is 1. DB server, database server is MySQL, which is greater than or equal to 4.1. Analyzing is over after somewhat 10 minutes. You can see here few of them got failed, and after trying blind method they got the database, that is Bible history. The length of Bible history is 13. So now let's see what all we got. In info, the target which we had submitted, host IP, web server, Apache, powered by PHP, MySQL greater than or equal to 4.1, and current database is Bible history. So now let's see what all we got or what all we got access to. In tables, Bible history. Now let's click on get databases. It will take time to find databases. Now we have got the database, that is DBS, and the status is I'm idle. The databases we got here are Bible history, information schema, Bible glossary, keywords, kids dictionary. So now further I will right mark on Bible history and hit on get tables. It will start finding for tables. The tables such as administrator emails are showing up here, and many more tables will show up with the time. I'll just fast forward it until all table shows up. The time how much I took is more than 30 minutes for this table to show up. I'm just fast forwarding the video for your convenience. The list of tables here is not ending, so I'll click on stop. So now in tables I'm interested in getting the emails which this website has collected from its users. So I'll right mark the emails and hit on get columns. Status shows finding columns. Again it will take time. I'll just fast forward it. So the columns we got is verified email, email ID and ID. I want email IDs, so I'll just right mark on email ID and click on get data. This one will fetch the email IDs for me. I'm just fast forwarding. Actual process takes lots of time compared to what you are seeing here. So here is the list of email IDs showing up here. This email IDs I got after 10 or 20 minutes interval after hitting get data. So have patience while doing SQL injections. So here is the list of emails I got, and it's still collecting the column data. You can wait 20 to 30 minutes to collect all emails. I'm just demonstrating SQL injection on Havage, so I will just stop it here itself only. So this is how SQL injection is conducted using Havage. As I am able to access any kind of data inside this vulnerable website, so basically it's highly dangerous for the website owner. So that's why SQL injection is most dangerous, or SQL injections come in top 10 high vulnerabilities. So that's all in this video. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome, in this video we'll see SQL injections on DVWA. If you have no idea about what is DVWA, that is Damn Vulnerable Web Application, do see previous videos where I have explained what is DVWA and demonstrated how to set up DVWA in Linux and Windows operating system. In this video, we will see few manual SQL injections on DVWA. First, run XAMPP. Make sure Apache and MySQL is running. In browser, open DVWA, that is localhost /DVWA. Here login with user ID admin and password is password. Now we are in the home page of DVWA. Navigate to SQL injection. Input 1 into the text box and hit on submit. The web page prints ID, first name and surname to the screen. So this is PHP select statement that we will be exploiting. That is get ID equals to select first name, last name from user where user ID equals to ID. We are going to specifically exploit this $ID. So now let's begin. After basic injection, let's try always true scenario. For that, input this one. This is basically always true scenario. The logical output of this is always true. And hit on submit. If it didn't work for you, go to setup or reset database and reset it. And again come to SQL injections and try it. And one more thing I want to remember is go to DVWA security and set the security level to low and submit. That may be one more reason if SQL injections are not working. So when you try this always true scenario, this is the kind of output we get. In this scenario, we are seeing display all the records that are false and all the records that are true. Like %apostrophe will probably not be equal to anything and will be false. And this 0 equals to 0 and close to it apostrophe is equal to true because 0 will always equal to 0. So this is how database statement work. MySQL select first name, last name from user where user ID equals to this always true scenario, and the output we guessed is first name and surname whatever stored in database. The next SQL injection I want to try is to display database version. For that I will enter %apostrophe or 0 equal to 0 union select null version hash and hit on submit. Notice in the last displayed line for surname, the version of database is displayed. This is the version of the MySQL database of this website. Now the next SQL injection I would like to try is display database users. For that I will type %apostrophe or equal to 0 equals to 0 union select null user hash and hit on submit. Note in the last displayed line root @localhost is displayed in the surname. This is the name of the database user that executed behind the scene PHP code. Now one step further, the next we are going to do is display database name. For that %apostrophe or 0 equal to 0 union select null database hash. Notice in the last displayed line, DVWA is displayed in the surname. This is the name of the database. Now let's display all tables in information schema. For that, %apostrophe and 1 equals to 0 union select null table name from information schema dot tables hash. And I'll hit submit. Now we are displaying all the tables in information schema database The information underscore schema is the information database, the place that stores information about all the other database that the MySQL server maintains. Now display all the user tables in information underscore schema. For that, %apostrophe and 1 equals to 0 union select null table underscore name from information schema dot tables, where table name like user hash. I'll just enter that here in user ID and hit on submit. Now we are displaying all the tables that start with the prefix user in the information underscore schema database. Now let's go further to display all the column fields in information underscore schema user table. For that, %apostrophe and 1 equals to 0 union select null concat table name 0x0a column name from information schema dot columns, where table name equals to users. Now we are displaying all the columns in the users table. Notice there are user underscore ID, first underscore name, last underscore name, user and password column. And the last one is display all the column field contents in the information underscore schema user table. For that, we are going to input %apostrophe and 1 equals to 0 union select null concat first name 0x0a last name 0x0a password from users hash. I'll just enter it and hit on submit. Now we have successfully displayed all the necessary authentication information into this database. So that's all. What we did is SQL injection on DVWA, which is highly vulnerable to SQL injections. I would highly recommend you to try manual SQL injections on DVWA by yourself instead of trying on actual website. No doubt the kind of excitement one gets by trying SQL injection is completely different instead of trying on DVWA, but it's pretty important to have a core basics which you get by doing on DVWA. So that's all in this video. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video, we'll see cross-site scripting, also called as XSS. Cross-site scripting attacks are a type of injection in which malicious scripts are injected into trusted websites. XSS attacks occur when an attacker uses a web application to send malicious code, generally in the form of browser-side script, to a different end user. Flaws that allow these attacks to succeed are quite widespread and occur whenever a web application uses input from a user within the output it generates without validating or encoding it. An attacker can use XSS to send malicious script to an unsuspecting user. The end user's browser has no way to know that and will execute the script. Because it thinks the script came from a trusted source, the malicious script can access any cookies, session tokens, or other sensitive information retained by the browser and used with that site. These scripts can even rewrite the content of HTML page. To know more in detail, we need to know types of cross-site scripting. In early days, only two types of primary cross-site scripting were identified, that is stored XSS and reflected XSS. And later on in 2005, the third one, that is DOM based XSS, came out. So let's see in brief these three types. Stored XSS generally occurs when the user input is stored on the target server, such as in the database, in the message forum, visitor log, comment field, etc. And then a victim is able to retrieve the stored data from web application without that data being made safe to render in the browser. With the advent of HTML5 and other browser technologies, we can envision the attack payload being permanently stored in the victim browser, such as HTML5 database, and never being sent to the server at all. Reflected XSS. It occurs when user input is immediately returned by a web application in an error message, search result, or any other response that includes some or all of the input provided by the user as a part of the request, and without permanently storing the user provided data. In some cases, the user provided data may never leave the browser. And the third one, DOM-based XSS. DOM-based XSS is a form of XSS where the entire tainted data flow from source to sink takes place in the browser. That is, the source of the data is in the DOM. The sink is also in the DOM, and the data flow never leaves the browser. For example, the source where the malicious data is read could be the URL of the page, for example, document location, or it could be an element of the HTML, and the sink is sensitive method call that causes the execution of malicious data. Types of cross-site scripting. So there are basically two types, server-side and client-side. Server-side is when the untrusted user-supplied data is included in an HTML response generated by the server. And the client-side is when the untrusted user-supplied data is used to update the DOM with an unsafe JavaScript call. To know more about cross-site scripting in depth, visit this website, that is owasp.org. They have mentioned these things even in depth. Just go and read it if you want to know in depth, as I would not like to make all my videos theoretical and boring. So please go ahead and read it from the link in description, or the link you are seeing here. You can just go and visit it. That's all in introduction to cross-site scripting. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video, we'll continue with cross-site scripting, that is XSS. In previous video, we have already seen introduction to cross-site scripting. In this video, we will go a bit practical on cross-site scripting. So basically, in a cross-site scripting attack, a hacker injects his malicious JavaScript code in the legitimate website. When a user visits specially crafted link, it will execute the malicious JavaScript. A successfully exploited XSS vulnerability will allow attacker to do phishing attacks, steal account, and even worms. For example, let us imagine a hacker has discovered XSS vulnerability in Gmail and inject malicious script. When the user visits the site, it will execute the malicious script. The malicious code can be used to redirect user to fake Gmail page or capture cookies. Using these stolen cookies, he can log in into your account and change the password. It's easy to understand XSS if you have knowledge about HTML, JavaScript, and PHP programming. In this tutorial, I have made few videos on basic HTML. So now let's begin with XSS attack. Now we have to find the website which are vulnerable to XSS attack. For that, hackers basically use Google Doc for finding the vulnerable site. Like for example, they search for few terms like this one, that is $search equals to or .php $q equals to. I'll Google search for .php $q equals to. So this is the result. I'll visit the first site, that is edumediashare.com. So this is basically that website. So edumediashare.com is just a simple site with lots of information on physics related to schools. I'll search for my name, that is Amit. So basically no result for Amit, as I don't have anything related to Amit. Now I will open the page source. For that I will right click and hit on view page source. In page source I will search for Amit. For that I will hit Ctrl and F. The find box open up. Here I will search for Amit. So this is the place I had inserted Amit. Now let me try for one script. So now we are going to check whether the server sanitizes our input or not. To check that, I will search for the tag, that is script tag. So basically no output. Now let me see page source of it. Now I have to search for the same location where I found Amit. So the line of Amit is 21. So here also I will go for 21. So here is the script. Instead of those symbol, here is %3c and %3e. So it basically means that the input is sanitized by the website. If it is not sanitized, means script will have those symbols. Anyhow, we know now the site is somewhat vulnerable to XSS attack, but let us make sure whether the site is completely vulnerable to this attack by injecting a full JavaScript code. For instance, let us input this script. The script tag is open and close, and inside that I have written my name, that is Amit. So now I will hit enter. Now it is displaying pop-up box with Amit string. So finally we successfully exploit the XSS by extending the code with malicious script. Now one can do steal cookies or deface the site and more. So now if you ask what an attacker can do with this vulnerability of XSS, then I would say one can steal identity and confidential data such as credit card details. One can bypass restriction in website, session hijacking, malware attacks, website defacement and denial of service attack, that is DOS. You can do all of this if the website is vulnerable to XSS attack. So that's all. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video we will continue with cross-site scripting, that is XSS. We will see bypassing the XSS filters. So basically, sometimes web developers use XSS filter to protect against XSS vulnerability. For example, if you put script alert double quotation hi and end of the script tag, the filter will escape the double quoted character, so the script will become alert XSS detected. So now the script won't work and you will feel that the website is not vulnerable to XSS attack. But basically it is vulnerable. You have to just use some trick to bypass the filters. So let's see what are those tricks. The first trick is bypassing magic Koto gpc. Magic underscore Kotos underscore gpc equals to on is a PHP setting configured in php.ini file. It escapes every single Koto, double Koto and / with a backslash automatically. Like for example, the script we entered is script alert double quotation hi and the end of the script with backslash. It will be filtered as script alert. Instead of double quotation hi, it will backslash hi. So the script won't work now. This is well-known filtering method, but we can easily bypass this filter by using ASCII characters. Like for example, alert double quotation hi can be converted to string.from char code and the ASCII value. So now the script will become script string.from char code, the ASCII value and the end of script tag. So in this case, there is no double quote or single quote or backslash, so the filter can't filter this thing. So it will successfully run the script. The string.from_char code is a JavaScript function that converts ASCII value to characters. So if you are thinking how to convert to ASCII value, there are some online sites that convert to ASCII character, but I would recommend you Hackbar Mozilla add-on. After installing Hackbar add-on, press F9. It will open the small box above the URL bar. Click the XSS, then string.from_character code. Now in a pop-up small window, enter the code. For instance, alert double quotation hi. Click on OK button. Now you will get the ASCII value. So now copy the code into script tag and insert in the vulnerable sites. Like wherever there is box to enter some value. It may be a search box or whatever. So this was basically first method. Now the second method is hex coding. We can encode our whole script into hex code so that it can be filtered. For example, the script alert hi can be converted to hex like this. Now put the code into vulnerable site and it's done. You are ready to exploit. This site will help you to convert into hex code. Now the third type, bypassing using obfuscation. Some website admin put script and alert in restricted word list, so whenever you input this keyword, the filter will remove it and will give error message like you are not allowed to search this. This can be bypassed by changing the case of the keyword. For example, S uppercase and C lowercase, R uppercase, IPT lowercase. And in the same way, alert, where AL are in the uppercase and the rest are in lowercase. This bypass technique rarely works compared to before I am mentioned, but it's really worth to give a shot and see it works or not. And the fourth one and the last one is closing tag. Sometime putting this tag of double quotation and this symbol at the beginning of the code will work. Like here, for example, double quotation and the symbol, and as it is the script alert hi. So this will end the previous open tag and open our script tag. For example, like this. So basically we saw 4 methods to bypass XSS filters. I'm not saying that there are only 4. It depends upon you. You can find one more method to bypass those filters. You have to just think logically to bypass these filters. That's all. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video we will continue with cross-site scripting, that is XSS, but on DVWA. To know more about DVWA, that is Damn Vulnerable Web Application, do see previous videos in this course where I have explained what is DVWA and how to set up DVWA on Windows operating system and Linux operating system. So let's begin with XSS on DVWA. In previous videos, I had demonstrated cross-site scripting on actual website by finding the websites which are vulnerable for XSS attack, but in this course I will use DVWA, which is damn vulnerable, so that it become easy for students to practice their hacking techniques. So basically DVWA is a platform where you try your hacking skills. To begin, first open XAMPP and start Apache and MySQL. My Apache and MySQL are running. Now I will open DVWA in localhost. For that I will type localhost/DVWA. In login I will type username as admin and password as password. So now we are inside DVWA. Before we go further, we have to set security to low. instead of impossible. In XSS, I will prefer for stored XSS. As stored XSS is more vulnerable, I will go to stored vulnerable. If you don't know what is the difference between reflective and stored XSS, do see previous videos on XSS where I have explained it in brief. Let's begin now by doing basic XSS test. The first test, I will name it as test1, and inside message box I will write a script for XSS like we did in previous video. Inside script tag alert XSS exploit test with double quotation. Now I will hit on sign in guestbook. You will notice that the JavaScript alert we just created is now displayed like a pop-up box. As it is a stored XSS, every time a user comes to this forum, this XSS exploit will be displayed. But this will not happen in reflected XSS. But this pop-up box will sure appear even in the websites which are vulnerable for reflected XSS. And this exploit can be easily modified to capture cookie or session information for future man-in-middle attacks. Now click OK to close it. So now let's move further. Before we try another exploit, we have to reset the database. For that, select Setup from the left menu navigation. Click on Create or Reset Database button. We need to reset the database, otherwise each XSS exploit will appear for each example. So now let's go back to XSS store to try one more exploit. The exploit which we are going to try now is XSS stored iframe exploit test. In name, I will enter as test2, and in message, iframe source equals to http://cnn.com and close the iframe tag. And I'll hit on sign in guestbook. Notice that CNN is displayed under test2 message, that is CNN website. This is a powerful exploit because a user could use set to create malicious cloned website and place in here. Set means social engineering technique where you create a fake page of Facebook or any kind of website. So now before trying another exploit, we have to reset the database. I'll go to setup and reset the database. So the exploit we are going to try now is XSS stored cookie exploit test. In name, I will write test3. In message inside script tag, I will write alert document.cookie and hit on sign in guestbook. We get to see the cookie or session that the web server establishes with the current browser session. An attacker could easily modify this XSS script to send the cookie to a remote location instead of displaying it. Like for example, imagine if this was a bank website, every time user logs in, a cookie information could be sent to a remote location where hacker will use that cookie to log into the website. So basically, it's very dangerous. So that's all. I have covered XSS exploit in brief using DVWA. I would highly recommend you to go and give a shot on DVWA and do all the things I did on DVWA. And one step further, do try different kind of XSS exploit on DVWA. So that's all in this video. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video we will see phishing. Phishing is an attempt to acquire sensitive information such as username, password and credit card details, and sometimes directly money, often for malicious reasons, by pretending themselves as a trustworthy entity in an electronic communication. It is basically done on popular social websites, auction sites, banks, online payment processors. Phishing emails contain links to the website that are infected with malware. Phishing is typically carried out by email spoofing or instant messaging and it often directs to user to enter details at a fake website whose look and feel are almost identical to the legitimate one. Phishing is an example of social engineering techniques used to deceive users. Phishing is an continual threat, and the risk is even larger in social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Hackers could create a clone of website and tell you to enter personal information, which is then emailed to them. In this course, we will see phishing in depth. We will discover a number of methods to create phishing page. We will even build those phishing page from scratch. We will test those phishing pages, and we will even see how to compel a user to enter user and password into phishing page. At last, we will see countermeasure for phishing attacks. That's all. I hope you will enjoy this phishing section. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video we will see what all we will cover in developing phishing page. Phishing page is basically a clone of original site. What it does is, if user enters user and password and hit on submit, we, the hacker, will get information entered by user. So in upcoming video we will see various methods of developing phishing page. From previous videos on website development, you got enough basics on web development which will help in developing phishing page. First, we will develop phishing page using Kali Linux by just entering few commands. No need of any coding skills we needed. Just few commands should be entered. Just follow the steps I did. Then we will create phishing page by copy pasting the codes from original site. Then later on we will do manual site development using HTML and other programming languages. So this is not the end. I will add few more topics on phishing page development in upcoming days. So that's all. Just do what I have demonstrated in upcoming videos and you will come to know how things work. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video we will see how to set up phishing page using Kali Linux by writing simple commands. In this video we will create phishing page of Facebook. First, boot into Kali Linux. To boot into Kali Linux, just plug in your bootable Kali Linux pen drive, press F12 or other button. As your laptop shows to choose boot option while booting system, choose pen drive you have inserted. During boot process, Kali Linux will prompt you to choose boot mode. Select live option, which is first option, and press enter. Eventually, Kali will boot into graphical interface mode. Go to application, then Kali Linux, exploitation tools, social engineering toolkit, and click on social engineering toolkit. From menu, select first option, that is social engineering attacks, and hit enter. Now in this menu, select second option, that is website attack vectors. Now select third option, that is credential harvester attack method. Now select second option, site cloner. Now you have to enter your system address. As of my system IP address is 192.168.2.2. To get your system IP address, open terminal and type ifconfig. As you can see, this is my IP address. Just copy your IP address from here and paste it in before terminal and hit enter. It is asking for URL to be cloned. As I want to clone Facebook login page, I will write www.facebook.com and press enter. It says that information will be displayed to you as it arrives below. Now our fishnet is ready. I'll just open up the browser and type the IP address which I had given before, that is 192.168.2.2. Our cloned Facebook page shows up. If user enters email ID and password and hit on login, here in our terminal we get his user ID and password. So in the same way I did for Gmail, that is gmail.com. This way of creating phishing page is one of the most easiest one you can find. But the disadvantage is as soon you turn off your Kali system, the clone website will be also gone. And you need to have good internet speed and constant connection. If the internet connection is gone, your page is gone. And this page can't even handle a number of visitors. The bandwidth of phishing page directly depends upon your internet speed. So that's all in creating phishing page using Kali Linux. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video we will see developing Facebook phishing page using copy-paste method. We'll just copy-paste codes and create HTML pages, and our phishing site is ready. The basic web development videos which you watched before will help you in this course. No need to panic, just do what I do and try to understand by doing it. So let's start. First open Facebook login page. What I will do now is create similar Facebook login page and host it on particular xyz.com. If anyone opens xyz.com and enters his or her user ID and password, I will get his or her user ID password. First you must have ready-made PHP script which you can download from download section of this video. I'll create new folder for it as phishing FB and save inside that folder as phishing.php. I'll just right click on this web page and click on view web page source. This is what we need. Just select all by pressing Ctrl+A and copy it by pressing Ctrl+C. Paste into Notepad by creating new page. Now I will do some edits in this code. Press Ctrl+F. Find Windows pops up. Search for keyword action. This is not what I need, so again press on find next. Not even this. Again I will click on find next. Yes, this is what I need. I want to just change the value assigned to action. Instead of Facebook login URL, I'll write phishing.php and the value of method I'll edit it to get. Now I will go to file and save it inside phishing FB folder which I created before. I'll save it as index.html. Now create one more blank text, keep it blank itself and save it as passwords.txt. So here we have three files which we need. Index.html is front end of our Facebook phishing page. Phishing.php is our backend script which will store user ID and password entered in passwords.txt file. That's it in this video. In next video we will see how to host it online. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome. In this video we will see how to use AdWord to compel a user to enter his user ID and password. I see AdWords as password hacking tool because it brings legitimate user to phishing website from whom one can steal password. In this video, we will just see complete plan or overview of end result. What I did is when anyone Google search for Facebook ad placed by me will show up first, which basically look like original FB ad. As you can notice here, URL of ad is different but many do ignore it. People just open up first link because most of them are lazy. They just hit on first link and enter their user ID and password on phishing page of FB created by me. And I successfully get user ID and password of user. For this tutorial, I just targeted small city Vijaypur, Karnataka state, India and set ad for displaying for just one night. When I woke up, I had 15 clicks on ad at 4 rupees per click. It costed me 60 rupees max, that is basically less than $1. And I got user ID and password of 15 different users from particular small cities within 5 km radius within one night. I hope you got amazed and ready to try it by yourself. In Ethical Password Hacking and Protecting course, I have demonstrated it step by step from creating AdWord account to obtaining user ID and password. If you are interested and wanted to learn, then enroll into my Ethical Password Hacking and Protecting course from $10 coupon given in bonus lecture of this course. For bonus lecture, scroll down to the end of the course. Bonus lecture is last lecture of this course. I can't add those in-depth videos in this course. If you want it, you can enroll into that other course. That's all. Thank you for watching this video.